I came to this country in 1991. You know what I mean? That was the beginning of my journey in coming to America. That was the beginning of what we thought was going to be, you know what I'm saying, a good life. Because when you're back home, that's all you hear about America is how sweet it is and how good people live. So, you know, when we first got here, my people still had bread, so we was able to go to the Catholic school for like a year or so. But I was soon learn the true reality about this country. You know what I mean? It's like when you're back home in Africa, all they tell you is, all you see is the marketing side and the products and all that other stuff from America. But you'll never get to see how it is in like the streets and in the ghetto and everything. And having to go to elementary school here and middle school here and high school here, I had no choice but to get involved in what was going on. You know what I mean? And then coming from the family that I come from, being a middle child and everything, it was, I found the streets was where I was comfortable at. The streets was where I was comfortable at. The album is really about my experience and coming to this country with one notion, realizing the reality, being caught up in the reality, and then surviving the reality. Like I remember one of the most important things Tupac said was, protect your essence, protect your essence, protect your essence. When you speak with that kind of intensity and when you take up that kind of subject matter, there are a lot of people that don't want to see you progress. There are a lot of people that don't want to see you move forward. I think a lot of artists today, a lot of musicians, period, get caught up in you can explain it as the money aspect of it. You know what I mean? I guess that's the justifiable way of putting it. But I think a lot of times people are cowards. I think that's what it really comes down to a lot of times. A lot of people don't have the heart to say what needs to be said. Now, being from here, it's easier to be able to step back and look at the big picture and say there's something wrong with this. You know what I mean? It's easier to not get caught up in the whole, I guess you could call it a street life if that's what you want to call it, but man, I was able to protect my essence and retain who I was, and that's a king. A lot of times, a lot of people take that word, if you look at the word king in its originality, you gotta be born, it's a birthright, you know what I'm saying? You can't just be a king because you say you're a king. I mean, it's got to be in your blood, and I think in all rights, I earned that, I deserve that. You know what I mean? Because coming from back home, I descend from a line of rulers and chiefs. You know what I mean? So it's my essence to be a king. It's my essence to be a king. King.